Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Well, Ubisoft reminds me, right, of those ugly women that buy men presents in order for them to stay around, right? They know they're not that good looking. They know they don't have the body of a muse. They are certainly winning no bikini contest, right? But they have a good heart. They have a good heart, and they're going to buy you and wine and dine you and buy you maybe even a PlayStation so you can hang around. Buy you a game console to stick you around. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Ubisoft influencing influencers. Now, Asmongold had a take here that is a little bit off, and let me tell you why. Influencers are not journalists. They're not. To equate both of them taking gifts from companies is a little off base, and let me tell you why. Journalist is actually a profession. Being a journalist is a profession that you go to college for and what have you. You go through journalism school. You pay your dues, right? Nowadays, anybody can go on YouTube and say, "Oh, I'm a journalist because I researched this and I did." No, you're not. Stop it. You're identifying as a journalist, right? Elisa Mercante, not a journalist. She's an activist, right? And anybody, right, nowadays can call themselves that. But there's a huge distinction, right? If you're a journalist that works for a reputable organization and you start taking gifts from the people you report on, you will be fired immediately, right, for violating codes of ethics. And that could happen in any company. Let me tell you, I have to be careful. I was a salesman for years, right? And we would, wine and dine our customers, of course, and try to get them to sign those POs. For that reason, we would have to go around corners, to make sure that they didn't violate any, ethics codes, right? So, for example, I couldn't give them tickets to a box office, for example, especially somebody that was buying, things from me or things that I was selling to them. But, if we went to an event and we happened to be in an event together, right, and they happened to meet my friend that had all these things and we just happened to be at the same place at the same time, well, things happen, you can't, I can't stop my friend from giving him things, right? That's the way the cookie crumbles, right? That's how things get, and that's the way journalists get it. That's the way, people in the industry get it. That's how the system gets corrupted, right? You always find a way around certain things, right? Anyway, when it comes to this, though, you can't equate a journalist to a gaming influencer. They're an influencer. That's their literal job, is to influence you to buy stuff. Their only responsibility is to declare it, to inform you that they're getting free stuff from Ubisoft, right? If they send them out, like in this case, to Disneyland, so they can play 4 hours of the game, and they go whale watching and anything else that they give you, they have to disclose it. That's their responsibility, right? At least here in the U.S. It may be different in your country, right? It may be different wherever you're listening to this to. But in general, that's your responsibility as the influencer. But that literally is their job, to influence you. It's not to inform you. It's not to give you the truth. It's not to be your friend. It's to influence you to buy shit. That's literally their only function. And I made several videos on this. I put the guidelines from the SEC and all that stuff. So I'm not going to get into it again. You guys can watch my old videos. But these influencers that disclose, they disclosed it. That's it. But, that's all they have to do. You may not like it. You may not agree with it. You may not trust it. But that is their responsibility to do, right? And it's your choice whether to watch them or not. That's completely up to you. Some influencers scummy? Yes, of course. Some will never give a negative review because they want to keep that gravy train going, man. They want those sweet promotions. They want those flights to LA. They want those Disneyland tickets. And this shows you how desperate this company is. The only thing wrong with this Outlaws game is that it wasn't Han Solo. Everybody knows that should have been Han Solo on the cover of that game. Everybody knows it, right? That's the only, if Han Solo was on top, was the name on this box, let me tell you, a lot of the criticisms wouldn't even exist. Why? Because it's a beloved character, not because he's a man. It's because he's one of the original characters, and his story, you know, by the movies and everything else just seems unfinished. You know, even the Han Solo movie people didn't like because it wasn't Harrison Ford, right? And that's what people really were craving out of this Star Wars collaboration. When they said Outlaws, that's the first thing that came to everybody's mind. Oh my gosh, it's going to be Han Solo. When it wasn't, it started going south. And then on top of that, you add that, you know, you get this brand new character. It's a woman, and you try to make her ugly for, you know, let's face it, for political reasons, right? You want to make a point of whatever the hell your political point of view is, or, you know, your views on sex or whatever. It doesn't matter, right? Now you're fighting against the grain because it doesn't matter what these people say. The market has told you that 75 to 80% of your customers are heterosexual men. And just like any other man, they like pretty women, let me tell you. That's why cleavage sells. That's why the First Descendant is doing well and Concord isn't, right? That's your customer. And you have an industry right now that's led by a lot of people who hate their customers, right? Now, I'm not saying that this woman, you know, the way they drew her couldn't be attractive to anybody. I mean, there's a bunch of guys out there that like, you know, there's chubby chasers, the guys that are into skinny women. But the majority of men like attractive women. That's what they want to see in video games, right? When they portray men, they don't want to look like themselves. They want to look roided out. You know, they want to look like Schwarzenegger in Commando. You know, they want to be ripped, or in Predator. They don't, you know, want to look like they look like in real life. They want to be Rambo. And that's lost in these companies over political correctness. You're not going to change human beings' preferences. You're not. Look at what's popular today. Everybody can talk about inclusivity and what have you, but it's the attractive people that dominate media, attractive people that dominate music, and that's just the way it is. You know, I mean, it's always been that way. And when you start walking away from human nature, you're going to lose money. It's just that simple. There's a reason why K-pop groups are selling, you know, stadiums in the U.S. Why? Because do you want to look at the women groups in the U.S.? Nope. You know, do you want to see Twice, or do you want to see the Hood Rats? You're like, no. If I wanted to see Cholas, I could just go. I just down to East LA. I could go all I want. I could go to the Santa Fe Spring Swap Meet. I'll get to see them all down there. And I don't have to pay a single dime. They rap for free. But anyway, let me digress here. Let me get back to the point. The point here is that journalists are journalists. Journalist is a profession that has certain responsibilities, that has a code of ethics. You know, serious journalists that work for magazines, for, you know, serious businesses, not activists, right? Not Elisa Mercante. I'm talking about real journalists, right? Not activists. They can get in real trouble, right, for doing that. Not only do they ruin their reputation at the place they're working, they ruin it everywhere, right? If you start taking bribes as a journalist, you're not working anywhere, buddy. You know, it's not like CNN where that dude was was jacking it on a live stream and he can get his job back, right? That is insane, right? That shows you what kind of club you're dealing with here in media. But anyway, Ubisoft, this is what they have to do. It's crazy that they're doubling down on this, spending millions of dollars on advertising when literally all they had to do was write a check to Harrison Ford. They wouldn't have to change a single thing on the game and just put his face on there and give the fans what they want. But they want to send a message. They want to be politically correct. And because of that, they're going to take it in the shorts. And they're going to have to buy actual reviews. Guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.